All right, so video 2, although this is not a sequel, it's more like a prequel. So I guess watch this one before you watch the other one. I don't fucking know. Watch them in whatever order you happen to find them. Or don't watch them at all. Or watch them all. I don't know. Okay, so it's now 3 o'clock. So it's 40 minutes later, nearly 40 minutes later. And my original intention, the reason why I was prompted to record the first video was because, I've been thinking about it, blah, 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 blah. In fact, it's not a prequel, is it? If I make references to the first video. But then again, The Phantom Menace made references to A New Hope, the fucking Sand People. In the pod race, you wouldn't really get that unless you had watched A New Hope, would you, really? But anyway, I digress a little. Although, anyway, Star Wars. We'll talk about that more another time. It's relevant. Very relevant. So I originally made I've been thinking about it for a long time, blah, blah, blah. I think it's something I should do. In fact, I was in Ibiza last week. Or maybe the week before last now. The start of last week. Fucking whatever. I was there for about 10 days. It had nothing to do with the fact that I finished with my girlfriend. Coincidentally. Anyway, there's a story there. Maybe I'll tell it to you. If I continue these. When I continue these. Why the fuck won't I? Well, fear, I guess. But anyway. I'll continue them. Maybe you're watching this in 10 years' time. Maybe this video's got 1 million views by now. Probably not. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. Although I wouldn't be betting on it. So I started making these videos because I signed up to be a beta tester in ThinkSpot, the new platform kind of spearheaded by Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, who I love. It's helped me a lot. If you're not aware with Jordan Peterson's work, I highly, highly, highly recommend him. Of all the human beings on this planet, he's probably more than anyone influenced my life over the last 2 years. We probably wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't for him. But anyway, fucking watch him. He's brilliant. So I signed up for his platform, ThinkSpot. And then I just received an email, not too long ago. In fact, it arrived yesterday, but I only really took note of it today. And I opened it up and I was like, oh yeah, ThinkSpot. Here we go. So I signed up and I thought, well, now that there's the new channel here, maybe, now's the time to kind of get in at the ground level. And so that's what kickstarted me really to do the first video. Because I've always had this issue with I like to get in early and I like to do things right. I don't like to, I hate, even if I miss the first 30 seconds of a movie, I'm just not really into it. I'll wind it back if I can. If I walk in and somebody else is watching, I'll be like, oh, do you mind if we wind this back? Let's start from the beginning. But, if I'm not in control of it, if I'm... Interesting phrase. If I'm not in control of it, if it's on the telly or whatever, or if I'm going to the cinema, and I missed the first 30 seconds, I'm like, nah, fuck that, man. I'm very much a completist. Like, if it's, like, for example, if it's a 1,000-page reference book, I like to read it cover to cover, from page 1 to page 1,000. Like, biblical commentaries, things like that. You know, a biblical commentary from the vast majority of people is something to be kind of dipped into. You know, you kind of read something and then you use it as a reference, okay? Not really my style. I just like to, because I don't like to miss anything, right? I mean, that really is something that I need to get over because it holds me back. Maybe you can relate, some of you, in some ways. Perfection is the enemy of greatness. Perfection is the enemy of greatness. And my focus on perfection, I'm a Virgo. For those of you that are astrologers, you would understand. But it's very true. In my case, certainly. And yeah, perfection. I'm a perfectionist. Which is why actually to just do this, any old shit, probably 95% of you are switched off by now. And if so, that's fair enough. I don't fucking blame you. Not that you'd hear this anyway now because you already switched off. But for the 5% of you that remain, or maybe it's 1%, maybe it's just 0.5%, maybe it's one person, maybe it's just me rewatching it in a few years' time. I don't know. If you're still here, if you're watching, great. Maybe if you, right, we're 7 minutes in now. Maybe if you're 7 minutes in, just write a comment, say hello, just to say I made it to 7 minutes. 7, actually, 7. I had some t-shirts made recently by a company called Son of a Tailor, right? It's not a plug, but they are nice t-shirts. Check them out, sonofatailor.com or whatever. Custom made t-shirts. They've got this algorithm, blah, blah, blah. I won't go into it. Check them out, Son of a Tailor, right? I bought the t-shirts. They're not cheap, but they are good. I bought them before I went to Ibiza because I needed some decent t-shirts. And they are decent. I like them. You know, so far so good. I mean, who knows? They might fucking fall to bits after a few washes, but so far so good. I like the cut. They've got this algorithm, and it's interesting. Anyway, I won't bore you with this. It's not a fucking t-shirt video, but check them out. In fact, I'm wearing an H&M t-shirt now because I'm in bed. I wouldn't wear my nice new expensive t-shirts to bed, but this H&M t-shirt's also very nice. £3.99 or whatever. Ethics is another question, but hey, you know. Maybe a conversation for another time. But yeah, I like this colour. Saffron. Do you know why a monk wears saffron robes? Well, I'll tell you. I was going to say don't worry about it, look it up, Google it, but while we're here I might as well tell you. I am not an expert in any way, shape or form, so do your own research. In fact, everything I ever say, do not take my word for it. Do your own research. Certainly don't fucking quote me on it. Or quote me on it if you want. If I say something good, quote me on it. But, you know, if it's kind of fact-based, fact check me. Please always fact check me. If I'm wrong, let me know. Because I want to know. If I'm wrong, I want to be put right. It's better to be criticised by a wise man than praised by a fool. Is that right? I don't know. Fact check it. Something like that, anyway. You get the gist. Anyway, what was I fucking saying? Yes, saffron. Jesus Christ, 9 minutes. This goes fast, man. Blasphemy. We can talk about that another time, too. Check out Dennis Prager's thoughts on blasphemy. They're pretty spot on. But anyway, saffron. Okay, so, back in the day, people would sacrifice. Oh, God. We'll do lots of videos on sacrifice, don't worry about that. I can talk a lot on sacrifice. Yeah. And maybe, probably, almost certainly, as we go through this journey together over the coming years, I guess, sacrifice will be a recurring and major theme. Okay. So anyway, saffron. Fucking. Okay, so back in the day, people would, like in India, I guess, right? People would sacrifice or offer, offer to the gods things, and they would burn it in fire. So, like for example, a farmer would offer his wares, would offer the things he produced to the gods. So the farmer might burn some wheat in the fire. He might cast the wheat into the fire, burn it as an offering to the gods. He was giving his seed, his production, the value he had created, given his produce, what he had produced, created, his creation, to the fire. If, let's say, for example, if not a farmer, but like, for example, if it was a baker, for example, you might throw some bread onto the fire. You get the gist. Now, the monks symbolically wore the colour saffron. You probably can't see it here, but saffron's like the orange. If you imagine a Hindu monk, Hare Krishna, for example, that's saffron. Saffron is a spice. Look it up if you're not too sure. Although I'm sure most of you are aware what saffron is. But a monk would wear saffron robes because that's like symbolically casting his own body into the fire with a vow of chastity, or brahmacharya. So he was basically giving his body, sacrificing his body. I may not be using the right terms. Don't quote me on this. It's not a fucking book, right? I'm just talking, for God's sakes. Fucking the one person who was watching at 7 minutes definitely switched off now by 12 minutes.